monthly meeting of August 22nd was called to order at 7:50 p.m. at Memorial Middle School, 1200 First Street, Media Center, Fair Lawn, New Jersey. There were 16 members of the public in attendance. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Baldowski. Here. Mr. Banta.
Here.
Dr. Bertolini.
Present.
Ms. Brown.
Present.
Ms. Fee-Velovitz.
Present.
Mr. Rosenberg.
Here.
Mr. Spindell.
Present.
Ms. Yurman.
Present.
Mrs. Mahan.
Present.
We have a quorum.
The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend to the meetings of the public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Fair Lawn Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof distributed to the persons on the approved list, posted in the Board of Education Administrative Office, and sent to the Bergen Record and the Star Ledger. The announcement posting for the regular monthly meeting, along with the date, place, time thereof, was distributed on June 14th, 2024. Please join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dr. Dionisio, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Mahan. Good evening, everyone. I have a number of updates, being that we've been very, very busy over the past few months with our team at all of our schools, getting ready for the first day for our staff and for our students on September 4th. First, I would just like to share that I'm immensely proud of our team, including the administration, administrative assistants and secretaries, our IT department, certainly our facilities department, our teachers, counselors, child study team members, everyone who has really been actively engaged over the course of the last 2 months, 8 to 10 weeks, in order to be able to prepare for this upcoming school year to make sure it's a successful one. Throughout the summer, they've dedicated themselves to improving programs, updating the curriculum, enhancing our facilities, strengthening our school security, assisting faculty members with active recruitment and training in order to be ready for the new school year. And in that spirit, we just had the last 3 days very successful new staff orientation. So I would like to thank Ms. Ty and our entire Human Resources Department and our administration for all of their efforts in an effort to be able to not only recruit the best talent and also to be able to bring people on board, but then to be able to support them in the transition. So I can say with confidence that with meeting some of these new staff members that we've brought on board, witnessing the trainings that have taken place over the last 3 days, it's been very rich discussions, very supportive environment that's not only made up of our administrative team, but our teaching staff as well, who is integral in making sure that we're able to support the new teachers and employees coming into Fair Lawn to support our students. As far as our facilities update, have quite a bit to provide to the community here and to the board. So many of you who've been around to all of our schools have seen quite a bit of activity this summer. From what I understand, there's probably been more activity this summer than there's been in quite a long time, barring a referendum with additions to buildings. The number of facility updates that have been done is tremendous. So in addition to the regular cleaning and housekeeping in order to make sure that the buildings are as presentable and clean as they are, there have been a number of different projects that I would like to share with everyone that are on track, either completed or going to be completed in the coming days. So we've had a number of renovations of 6 additional science labs, as well as many health and safety initiatives that have been completed this summer. Projects included paving at the high school, Memorial Middle School, as you saw coming in, Milnes, as well as the replacement of concrete stairs on the back end of Milnes and TJ Middle School. Those were all completed. There was also the addition of a walking path at the front of the high school, and as well as landscaping, beautiful landscaping that's been added And we've also had fencing that was installed at Westmoreland, Thomas Jefferson, and Fair Lawn High School, in addition to landscaping throughout the school district. The multi-purpose rooms in our schools were all painted at the elementary schools, as well as large fans installed for cooling and ventilation. Several of our elementary schools have also we've replaced their worn cafeteria furniture this summer. So they have all brand new furniture for our students in the lunchroom. We've added 2 new gym floors that have been installed at Radburn Elementary School and also at Thomas Edison. The largest projects on the list this summer were certainly Sasso Turf Field. That was up for renovation. It had certainly seen its life expectancy, and we have a beautiful brand new field that's been installed. And the track replacement is also being completed, and that will be completed within the next few weeks in time for the new season. And another big project was shutting down Thomas Edison School this summer. We had the roof entirely redone. So they're finalizing the details there now. And we'll be back next month, actually, back to Edison for all of our board meetings. Both projects are anticipated to be completed first week of September. And then currently the field project is over at Sasso is in its last phase, the track being completed. And the Edison roof will substantially be completed this Friday. Once again, thank you to Mrs. Mancuso for all of your leadership in spearheading the work across the district. I would also like to thank Mr. Yobs, our Director of Facilities, and the Assistant Facilities Director, Coordinator, Neff, and the entire facilities and custodial team. They've just done an absolutely amazing job when you walk through the buildings, and it's something that's incredible to do in such a short period of time. I can't overstate enough just how impressive it's been. As far as the district calendar goes, for the 24-25 school year, that obviously was published and board approved a number of months ago last year. We are starting to work on the new calendar. We're going to get ahead of that for the 25-26 calendar. So we'll bring that to the board within the next few months and try to get that completed before December to communicate that to the parents. As far as our school schedule goes, the last 3 days have been the new staff orientation, as I mentioned earlier. Next week, our 10-month employees return back to school. On August 28th, officially, we'll have convocation where we'll convene as a whole district staff. We'll have faculty meetings and preparation in classrooms. On August 29th, that's an in-service professional development day. We have a full slated schedule for our entire staff. I'd like to thank our administrative team, specifically Dr. Lacatina and Mrs. DeFranco, for all of your efforts in coordinating all of that work, and all of our supervisors and administrators in that facilitation. Our first day for our students is actually Wednesday, September 4th, after Labor Day, and looks like we're ready to go, and it's right around the corner. So enjoy your last few weeks of sun and summer. This evening, we have a resolution 5F. That's our annual district goals and objectives that we have up for board approval. That's something that we do annually, typically this time of year. We have 3 goals that are the continuation goals over the past several years. It's the career and technical education goal, maintaining student and staff well-being, and then the last goal is tiered academic systems of support. Those goals are similar in an effort to make sure that we're reflecting our commitment to sustained improvement year over year and making sure that we're aligning our strategic vision over time, building upon our past success, but making sure that we're ensuring deeper systemic change rather than abrupt shifts. We keep those goals consistent year over year. Those are 3 really great goals that the district has had. Specifically, I think what's most important to note is that the action items that fit under the umbrella of each of those goals changes, sometimes slightly, to suit the needs and the feedback we're receiving and to update the progress that the district has made in the previous year, and sometimes more drastically, but it's an action item rather than the entire goal. And that really suits the needs of the district. The way we, in the past, have conducted surveys has been through, my understanding is like a Google form to the community. We did not do that this year, and the reason for that is last year we surveyed over 2,000 community members and students and staff. We have great feedback through Thought Exchange that we ended up taking all of that information and now have developed action items that will fit right within those 3 goals. And if you recall from May, we had the State of the Schools presentation. We had a lot of that feedback that was embedded in that presentation. And what we're taking is the most pressing, prevalent matters and the feedback we've received from our community members and applying that right within our 3 overarching goals. So the administrative team and I are working on that over the next several weeks. We plan to be able to bring those action items to the board in September through the board committees and then for board approval in September at the end of the month. In the same spirit of feedback from Thought Exchange, last year, one of the items amongst a number of items that we received feedback on was school lunches and food services. For the board and members of our community who may or may not know, last year was the first year that we actually had Mascio's Food Services brought into the district, and there have been significant improvements in the food service program. There's always room for growth and improvement. So last year, continuous feedback around through Thought Exchange was to continue to take a look not only at the options for food, but possibly expanding offerings for more healthy options. Last year, Ms. Mancuso and Mascio's conducted like these small group sessions for students, parents, and staff to provide feedback to Mascio's and to be able to taste some of the food and give ideas. We're going to be expanding that for next year as well, and being able to solicit some more feedback in order to see what other changes our students and parents would like to see within our food service program. As a follow-up to last month's meeting, and also the month before when we started talking about the cell phones and what our policies are, one of the things that the administrative team and I are doing with our full administrative team is being able to have a discussion around our current policies that relate to cell phone use. And then we're going to be able to bring that feedback back to the board in September with recommendations as to how it could possibly impact policy. So that way the board can do that through the appropriate committee. So that's the timeline on the follow-up for cell phones and the use of it and how we utilize those in school. And then last but not least, we have an update on the district logo rebranding. Over the summer, we've been reviewing the results with Sky Designs just to give everybody some feedback. The survey was part of that we did it back in the spring, was part of the district rebranding efforts around the logo and design to understand from our community what the sentiments are. We began with what Sky Designs calls the discover phase with focus groups where we had almost 200 members of our community, students, staff, and parents participate in those focus group discussions to really understand and craft a narrative around what the story is about who we are here in Fair Lawn. We also sent out the community survey. Over 500 people responded to that survey, which is a really great response. That all occurred. That's all part of the discover phase, which then leads us into the define phase. The define phase is the phase that we're currently in, which is now analyzing all of the feedback with Sky Designs. Of the respondents on the survey, 1/3 of the respondents shared a preference for keeping the current FL logo untouched. 1/3. It was interesting how it broke out. 2/3 favored either updating the current logo or completely redesigning it. So 2/3 of the community said there should be some sort of change. So part of this is really making sure that throughout, and this is why we're taking our time with this process, not to rush it, is because any type of adjustments to the logo, we will continue to put out to the community for additional feedback to be able to get that feedback that will inform the design process. So the next steps, we just recently met with Sky Designs in August. The next steps include developing new variations of the logo as a draft, to create a unified visual identity to amplify the district's story. And all of this is going to really be tied around what the story is around not only Fair Lawn as a school district and our community, but also each individual school. We're going to take all of that. We're going to be able to share that out so the community and the board can expect a follow-up email that has more description, more update, and another opportunity to be able to collect more feedback. The results of that will be coming within the next month or so expect something probably in September, and we look to continue with this process over the next several months throughout the remainder of 2024 and then going into early 2025. So that concludes my superintendent report for this evening. At this time, we do have a short presentation this evening. I'm going to turn it over to our Assistant Superintendent of Education, Dr. Lakatina, who will be presenting on Access for ELLs, our English Language Learners Spring 2024 Testing Assessment presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Dionisio. So we are going to report out, as he said, on the Access for ELLs. That is the name of the assessment that is given to all of our MLs, our multilingual learners, each year. The name of the test is still Access for ELLs. They have not changed that yet. So again, this is an English language proficiency assessment for all of our MLs in grades K through 12. And what it does is it helps us to assess our MLs proficiency in the English language itself. It's computer-based, it's adaptive, and so it kind of, sees where a student is at and then determines what the next question should be based on their ability level. And they are tested within 4 domains of listening, reading, speaking, and writing. There are 6 levels. The students are scored on a 6-point scale, whether they are entering, where they know and use minimal social language and minimal academic language. And they typically need lots of visual and graphic support at this stage. Level 2 is called emerging. They know some social English and some very general academic language, but again, they still need that support visually and graphically. Level 3 is developing. Students know and use social English and some specific academic language with that visual and graphic support. And then they start to turn that corner and need less of that support. Level 4 is expanding, where students know and use social English and some technical academic language. Level 5 is bridging. They know and use social and academic language, working with grade level materials, so they are really making good strides at this point. And then level 6 is reaching, and that's when our students know and use social and academic language at the highest level measured by this particular test. So this chart will show you how our students did in each of those levels. Now, we are not allowed for confidentiality purposes, we cannot share scores when there are fewer than 10 students. So if I took the results and I teased them out and showed you kindergarten students for the first level and the second level and the third level, you would see a chart filled with NA, because I am not allowed to share that information. So in order to be able to share something meaningful, we tend to bundle that information, so I have enough students in each of those categories to be able to make this information meaningful. So you will notice that we banded together the students in grades K through 4, 5 through 8, and then 9 through 12. And then I also bundled levels 1 and 2 together. Those are the earliest levels of English language proficiency. And then 3 and 4 are together in that pink color, and followed by our students that are performing at the highest levels on this assessment, which is level 5 and 6. You will also see on this slide the number of eligible test takers, as well as the number of valid scores we received in each grade span, and then the participation rates. We are required to share this information with you, and we are required to have a 95% participation rate, and you can see that our district has a 97.5%. It's valid scores in this point, but they did actually participate, all of our students. But we still have a 97.5% participation rate, which is amazing. So again, you can see our students in each of those levels. We tend to look at the levels 3 and 4, as well as the levels 5 and 6. And in all of our grade spans, you can see that the majority of our students are on the upper levels between level 3 and level 6. It's important, though, to see how are we doing over time. So what you're going to see on the next couple of slides, you will see, again, those grade spans. In blue, you will see how did students perform in 2022 compared to 2023 in red, compared to the 2024 green. So in levels 1 and 2, you will see how our students did from one year to the next. Same thing, you can see how students performed one year to the next in levels 3 and 4, and then levels 5 and 6. And again, these are not the exact same cohorts of students. Students exit each year. It's not a perfect cohort from one year to the next, obviously. So we aren't directly comparing apples to apples, so we need to keep that in mind. The next slide will show you how our students did in grades 5 through 8 in the years 2022, 2023, and 2024, respectively. So you can see that. First banding, for those that might not be able to see it, the first group is for levels 1 and 2, followed by the data for levels 3 and 4, and following that on the far right is levels 5 and 6. And those are showing the percentages of students that score in each of those levels. And finally, we have grades 9 through 12, the same information, levels 1 and 2, followed by the tallest bar graphs there for levels 3 and 4, followed by levels 5 and 6 for each of those years, 22, 23, and 24. We took this data a step further, and what I wanted to show you, though, was overall proficiency. So what does that really mean? So for students to exit or be considered proficient to exit their ML classes, you need to score a 4.5 or above. So within those grade spans, you can see the numbers of students that scored 4.5 or above, and then you see the percentage in those grade levels. So for example, K through 4, 44 students within that grade span scored a 4.5 or above, and that represents 23.2% of the K to 4 students. And then when you look at grades 5 through 8, we had 20 students that scored 4.5 or above, and that represents 28.6% of those grades. And then grades 9 through 12, 8 of our students scored proficient, and that represents 16.7% of those students that are MLs in grades 9 through 12. I thought this was a really great piece of information to share with you. Every year, we receive a district performance report. It's always a year behind. So last year, we received this in the spring based on information from the prior year. But again, it's an interesting thing when we're talking about our scores for our MLs, interesting to see this information. It is showing you on the top chart the number of years that students are here in the district, our MLs, and then the number of students as well as the percent of students that scored 4.5 and above. So you can see clearly the longer the students are with us here in Fairlawn, the greater their language proficiency, the higher they score. And typically, we do like to, like the rule of thumb is we like to get those students to proficiency by year 5. Again, those are different students than the ones I just showed you, but it's the most recent data showing this kind of information. I wanted to share it with you. But what I'm really proud of, and this does happen year after year, I give great props to our ML teachers and staff. They are amazing, the work they do with our students, and our general education teachers that support our MLs. In 22-23, they measure our students' growth. So not just how did they score on an access test, but how much growth are they showing from one year to the next, which is really important. And here you can see 62.7% of all of our MLs in district made the expected growth, which is amazing. That's a really high score. The annual target is 27.4. So we absolutely met that target and went beyond. So when we typically look at growth on our district performance reports, historically, our students, again, thanks to our hardworking teachers, our students exceed the expected growth in English language acquisition. So I thank them, and we have a lot to be proud of. Our families are so supportive of our students, and our students do really, really well, thanks to that team effort. Some of the interventions we provide our multilingual learners. In grades K to 4, all of our beginner MLs, so if they score a 2.5 and below on the screener, all of those students that are considered beginners receive support during their writing period. This is something fairly new that we do in addition to support during their reading period. So that is an additional support we provide to our students. All of our MLs in grades 5 through 6 receive 2 periods of support, reading and writing. Again, typically, just those students that would be eligible for a bilingual program, if we had them here in district, would receive 2 periods. But in Fairlawn, all of our students in grades 5 and 6 and grades 7 and 8 receive those 2 periods of support. So they're getting an intensive ESL program, even though it is not required. So we're really proud of that. All of our beginner MLs in grades 9 through 12 also receive 2 periods of support. They have their English class, and then they also have subject area reinforcement, where students get additional support in specific content areas. Again, we have some ancillary support that we also have in the high school. So in addition to the 2 periods, we also then are lucky enough to have even more teacher support for those students during those subject areas. So it's not just one teacher. We now lower that student-teacher ratio. And then we also have various online resources for our students, and we have been working with our general education teachers K through 12 for the past, 5 to 8 years probably on SIOP, which is Sheltered Instruction Observation Protocol, where we are working with our general education teachers to teach them the effective strategies to use when working with MLs in the general education setting. So not only do we have our teachers that are certified in ESL working with our MLs, but we also have trained general education teachers as well. And we are continuing that initiative into the future as far as we see it. So we have money again set aside to continue those efforts in the upcoming school year. And that's it. Does anybody have any questions?
So I have a couple of questions. My first question is the annual target goal that you said was 28 that the state, how did they determine that number? How did the state say 28 versus 50 versus 19?
So what they do is they establish a baseline, and I'd have to find out from them what that year was, but they take that baseline, they set up a goal, and then they divide the difference into intervals, and then that establishes what your target is each year until you ultimately, in the 5th year, reach the goal. So if we had, 20% of our students that were proficient and the goal is 80, they would take 60, divide it by the 5 years, and then those are the increments that they expect us to see each year.
So it's based on our school, not based on other other schools.
Correct.
I was looking at the slide, one of your slides from grades 5 through 8. It says grade level. It keeps from grades 5 through 8. It seems like every year from 2022 to 24, it keeps going down. So I was just wondering why.
Well, again, it's very hard to compare apples to apples there because they're not. Oh, sorry.
It's like the bar.
Yeah, that one?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you're looking, so it depends on what you're looking at, right? It went down in the middle level, right? And that's okay because it went up in levels 5 and 6, right? So overall, we had more students scoring in levels 1 and 2 that year, right? So we would prefer to see that go down in an ideal world. But we also had more kids scoring in the level 5 and 6 that year. But again, they're not the same students. So it's very hard for us to always make determinations unless it's a true cohort of students.
And one more thing, it says if the kids were here 5 years or more in the district, we only have 43% of them exit out of. I'm just wondering what happens to the other 57% of students. Just a huge number of kids. 5 years. Like after 5 years, only 43% exit our school.
Those are the percentage of students that scored 4.5 or above. Sometimes there are some students that score slightly below that we use multiple measures to exit students. So there are other factors that go into whether or not they could be eligible to be released. So that number could be higher. These are the students that score the 4.5, which is really the goal we want to try to get them to. Sometimes they will score slightly less. But then there are other factors that are considered into entering and exiting a student.
How does that compare to other years, and how does it compare to other districts that are with us?
I don't have that information right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Just a comment more than a question. The numbers are excellent up there, and I just want to congratulate not only our administration, our teachers, and our families that work with the students at home to get them to get to this point. So I just think overall, it's just a very good effort by everyone. So thank you, Natalie.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
At this time, we will open the public comments on agenda items only. Please limit your questions at this time to agenda items. Please provide your name and municipality in which you reside and sign in. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. This is not a dialogue between the speaker and the board. All comments will be taken at once, and when comments are complete, the board president or the district administration will respond as best they can. The floor is open.
for which they are qualified and in which their service will best serve the operation of the district. However, my reassignment to the role of student assistance counselor seems to contradict this policy. Restart or continue? Okay. Good evening. My name is Dina DeSantis, and I stand before you tonight to address the Level 4 grievance regarding my involuntary reassignment. The district's policy 4130 clearly states that it reserves the right to assign and transfer support staff members to the positions for which they are qualified and in which their service will best serve the operation of the district. However, my reassignment to the role of student assistance counselor seems to contradict this policy. I have not worked as a substance awareness counselor, a role distinctly different from the student assistance counselor position, in over 20 years, and even then, it was on a part-time basis. Policy 4130 also outlines that any transfer decisions made by the chief school administrator should consider the employee's success in previous roles, attitude toward change, length of service within the district, recommendation of the employee's supervisor, and the operational efficiency that would result from the proposed transfer. It explicitly states that no support staff member should be transferred for disciplinary reasons. Let me address these factors one by one. Success in a former position. I have served as a guidance counselor at Fairlawn High School for 20 years with great success, being the only counselor in the department to receive the Education Specialist of the Year award. It seems my proven success is now being used against me. Attitude toward change. I have consistently communicated to the administration and the board that this reassignment is involuntary. This is not a reassignment I welcome or support. Length of service. As the senior member of the high school guidance department, and indeed the senior guidance counselor in the entire district, my extensive experience should be valued, not disregarded. Supervisor's recommendation. I am unclear where the directive for this transfer originated. My direct supervisor, Mrs. Gupta, never discussed it with me. Instead, I was informed by Mrs. DeFranco just 2 days before the end of the school year, with no explanation other than my possession of a relevant certification. Operational efficiency. The district chose not to renew the contract of the untenured incumbent who was eager, knowledgeable, and fully qualified for this position. Despite having ample
Excuse me,
time.
you have 30 seconds remaining.
Thank you. Despite having ample time to advertise the vacancy and find a willing replacement, the district instead opted to transfer me involuntarily. This decision has left the high school counseling department with additional vacancies, worsening an already strained situation due to a recent resignation, a maternity leave, and another anticipated leave replacement, which you will vote on later tonight. The result is that the high school guidance department will be staffed by 4 new hires with far less experience and training than I possess.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to make a motion to extend her time by 2 minutes.
I object to the motion as the president of the Board of Ed. Call the roll.
I would like to say one more thing. Staff member,
Unfortunately, there is a roll call in place, so that has to occur.
we should have also a discussion before we have a roll call. That's how we have been doing practice.
As the president of the Board of Education here in Fair Lawn, I have the right to object to consideration of a motion at this time, and I'm going to ask for a roll call.
Mr. Baldowski?
No. The extension of time.
Mr. Baldowski? Mr. Banta?
Yes.
Dr. Bertolini?
No.
Ms. Brown?
No.
Ms. Fay-Velovich?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Spindell?
Yes.
Ms. Yurman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mahan?
No.
The extension of time passes.
Thank you. If there is not additional people who would like to speak, you are welcome to come back, as long as it doesn't.
No, the
Um,
extension time she can continue. That's the reason why we do
Right,
extension.
and it was,
Sure. So there was just an up and down vote on providing the speaker 2 additional minutes, correct?
Yes.
And that passed.
That means she gets 2
That
additional.
passed.
Yes.
Yeah.
my apologies, continue.
The result is that the high school guidance department will be staffed by 4 new hires with far less experience and training than I possess. How does this enhance operational efficiency? Disciplinary reasons. My 20-year tenure in this district is unblemished by disciplinary actions. However, as the association representative for the guidance department, I have been at the forefront of multiple conversations with administration about contract violations, including one recent grievance settled in favor of the high school guidance department by the state. In your informational packet regarding this grievance, Mr. Gorski's response to this grievance at level 2 stated neither Mrs. Gupta nor Mr. Aiello directed Ms. DeSantis not to report a student's disciplinary infraction to a college. This is simply untrue. Another union representative witnessed the conversation with Mr. Aiello, and it was immediately reported to the union president. Given these points, I strongly believe that this reassignment is not only retaliatory, but also detrimental to the students of the Fair Lawn School District. I urge the board to consider the broader context and the underlying factors that have led to this decision. As you weigh the decision that could irrevocably damage my distinguished career, I ask you to reflect on the following. Why was the board not informed that my transfer was involuntary? Why was the board not made aware that the middle school student assistance counselor position was not advertised,
You have 30 seconds remaining.
even though there was ample time as the incumbent was notified of her non-renewal status before the May 15th deadline? Why was the board not informed that the untenured incumbent, who is both knowledgeable and passionate about the position, was not being rehired, thus creating a vacancy that led to my involuntary transfer, which isolates me in a position split between middle schools, and seemingly serves to shield the administration from future complaints about contract violations by an Earnest Association representative.
Excuse me, your time is up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Troy Newson, Townley Road. If any of you don't know who I am. I just wanted to follow up to continue Ms. DeSantis's comments. She just had a few more things to say for your consideration. I just want to continue with that. So she asks, why, if the position was not advertised, was I only notified of my involuntary transfer 2 days before the end of the school year, without any job description or identification of the responsibilities at the middle school level? In my role as association representative for Fairlawn Education Association, I have always followed the proper chain of command, bringing contract violations to my supervisor's attention without circumventing authority. I have acted with ethical integrity throughout my career, and I respectfully request that you reconsider this reassignment, which not only undermines my professional standing, but also jeopardizes the effectiveness of the Fairlawn High School Guidance Department and ultimately the well-being of our students. And that's all. Thank you.
Christine Weinstein, Fairlawn. Write my name first. I'm just learning of this change, and as a parent of a senior at the high school who is fortunate to have Ms. DeSantis as his guidance counselor, now learning just now that my guidance counselor is changing. And looking at the list, the guidance counselor that's listed in Genesis right now is listed here as for 9th grade. So when were we going to communicate to the parents that guidance counselors, especially senior year, when that their guidance counselors are now all changed? This is not a very good thing that's happening. And I really would appreciate it if we would get some more communication regarding this, because guidance counseling has always been a very hot topic with Fairlawn High School in the last years. I've heard so many complaints, not because the counselors are not helpful or not knowledgeable, but that there's not enough. There's not enough support, there's not enough counselors, especially when we're going through the college application process. It is a huge process. It is so overwhelming for families that people have to hire people to help them do it, when some families can't do that. So we need our guidance counselors, so we need more of them. So I would appreciate it if this information can be communicated to the parents immediately so that they know who to contact when they need to get their transcripts. People are starting their applications, and it's going to be a total mess. Thank you.
Wilkin Santana, Fairlawn. I'm commenting on the personnel agenda on all the new hires.
I'm
But-
sorry, can you please sign in?
Oh.
Thank you.
Please don't start the time. I'm going to comment on the presentation for the access and on the personnel, the new staff coming in. First, I am a forever multi-language learner. English is my second language. And as a resident of Fairlawn and as a parent, those scores are not acceptable to me. I was very sad to see them. However, for people who are not aware of how someone learns English as a second language, it takes time. It takes like 4 to 5, sometimes 6 years. So please show empathy and sympathy to our children. It takes a lot of time. All right, now, welcome back to the new school year. I'm delighted to see our dedicated teachers and administrators, staff, and board professionals. Your hard work and kindness are the backbone of our schools. I am grateful for everything you do. A warm welcome also goes out to our new hires. You're joining a team that's passionate about education and committed to excellence. We are excited to have you with us and wish you the best as you start this new chapter. As we begin this year, let's remember the power of kindness in our classrooms, offices, and interactions. Kindness fosters a positive environment where everyone feels valued. Let's lead with empathy and make our schools a place of respect and support. We must hold high expectations for all students. Every child has unique potential, and it's our job to help them reach it. By challenging and supporting our students, we can guide them towards success in all areas. Finally, our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion remains unwavering. Our schools reflect the rich diversity of our community, and it is crucial that every student feels seen and respected. We will continue to promote inclusivity and ensure all students have the opportunity they deserve. Let's make this school year one of kindness, high expectation, and inclusivity. Together, we can create a thriving environment for students and each other. I do have an accent still, and I hope you understood everything I said. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cindy Jo Quackenbush, and I am here to speak in the later part of public comments, but I happen to have learned of the agenda item regarding Dina DeSantis, and I just wanted to say I did send a note the last time it was brought to the board's attention, but I just want to echo my sentiments. I think it's a huge, huge mistake to remove her from where she is glowing, flowing, and nurturing our children, especially in the high school. I can't say enough about Dina. She happened to be both of my children's guidance counselor. There were issues. She addressed them. She made them flourish. She guided them when they had questions. She was always there for them. She has an immense amount of experience. She's professional, and she's a wonderful person. And I think that the children are really going to miss her, especially if they don't even know that she's not going to be there when they walk in September. So I just ask you to reconsider. She doesn't want to go. It's involuntary. She can excel where she should be able to excel and do her best in what she's able to do. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for your time.
Is there anything on the Google form?
Yes, there is. There are a few comments. But I'm going to hold until later because none of them apply to the agenda items.
Noted. The floor is closed. We will now move on to board member comments on agenda items only. Ms. Ivalovich.
Oh, thank you for acknowledging me. So I'm going to vote no on 7L2. So the district is removing 3 ancillary staff positions, cutting the positions. 2 will be in the high school, half of it will be in the forest, and half of it will be with Miss Moreland. I believe that ancillary teachers are important in our district, and I think we should not cut ancillary teacher positions. I think it's a great disservice to our students, and as a board, we say we're student first. In order to be student first, we shouldn't be cutting instructional positions from our budget. They help our MLs, as we just learned from our presentation. They also help our students that need more assistance. Last board meeting, we said 78% of our students pass the NJ GPA. Just for comparison, our neighbor, Ridgewood, has 88% passing rate for the past 2 years. Glen Ridge, 89% passing rate. Cascade Hills, 82% passing rate. Cascade Valley, 83. Livingston, 81. Mawa, 85. I'm sorry, we could do better with our test. And one way to do better with our test is to make sure we have more support for our children that need the support. Having a one-on-one help from a professional is worth more than any computer program that you can put in front of any student. One-on-one can help with the students. I've worked with students that have difficulty in math, and no matter how much you put them in front of the computer, you can fix a lot of their things that they don't understand very quickly by asking the proper questions. So I'm going to be voting no to reduce 3 ancillary staff positions. I would like to say, there's for the affirmative action officers, TJ, it says to be determined as of 3 o'clock today. Has that changed? So how can we vote on something to be determined? That's why I don't really understand that one. Can we remove that position and put that for the next board meeting? Because to be determined is not a name.
When you're done with all of your questions, I'll make a comment.
Okay. Also, we pay for the field. Can on the agenda reflect the field trips when the board pays? What is actually being paid? Is it transportation? Is it tickets? What actually is?
Excuse me, there are 30 seconds remaining.
Okay, and then I will come back. Oh, also, I wanted to ask a question. For the bills, the district paid a gift card for $1,700 for ShopRite. I was wondering if they can explain why. I also don't understand why the district paid $1,350 for Stumpy's Fairfield, $1,350. If it was for...
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Banta.
Just a point of order. Aren't we supposed to ask these questions in an email before the meeting so that the administration has the proper information to give?
Point of information, I got the bills. I did not know what the bills were for, so I had to get the list before I
All
could
right,
ask. them.
We're not
as far as
having
I
a
know, I
excuse
had the
me,
floor.
excuse me. We are not having a back and forth. That is not what this meeting
No,
is
I know,
about.
but I was interrupted, is all I'm saying.
I understand that, but that is
I'm
not,
just asking if that's the procedure.
that is not what this meeting is about. Thank you. Thank you for your comment. I will defer that to our superintendent or legal counsel.
So as far as, I'll let Ms. Mancuso, if she has the answer, otherwise we could follow up regarding the ShopRite gift certificate. Field trip delineating costs, that's over and above and unnecessary. The administration manages that. We communicate if you have any specific questions regarding field trips, but those costs are already put in there onto the agenda. Affirmative action officer, it's listed as TBD because it is vacant, so you're actually not approving anyone. But if we didn't have that on there, then justifiably so, the board would then be asking, why don't we have TJ on there? So that's why it says TBD. So as soon as we have somebody for that role, we will put that in there. Stumpy's was part of a leadership retreat, so it costs $34 per person for a 2-day leadership retreat for professional development. I would say that the district got a bargain in regards to what the leadership retreat cost for PD this summer, considering we facilitated the whole thing in-house. So I think it's a very good use of taxpayer dollars, and it was a very well-received retreat. And as far as the conversations that we've had, the Personnel Committee spoke quite extensively about the ancillary teachers. It was something that we really struggled with because anytime that we have staff positions that we have to riff, it's a challenge, not only for the staff member, but also for the fact that those are resources that don't go directly to impact children or students, right? So the more resources, the better. The only reason we're in this situation is because the federal funds were cut by over $250,000, and we received that information most recently. So we have to balance the budget by law. We can't just, go borrow it from somewhere else or go cut something else in the budget. That would be unfair. It's important to note that the title funds are over and above what we already provide. So that's a critically important piece. And while we are not happy that we had to reduce 3 ancillary positions, it is an unfortunate situation. We did discuss it for over an hour in our Personnel Committee. We tried to look for other options at this point in time. We don't have those options. We were able to be creative, so we only had to RIF one position. And the reason for that is we did not appoint replacements for 2 other vacancies just because of the timing. And then we restructured how we were going to implement the ancillary model. Part of the beginning of the school year in September into October is assessment of our students based on abilities. So we're going to reevaluate, and then that buys us more time. So if we believe that we'll be in a good place with providing the services that our students need. Should that change, and should our students need more services, then we will come back to the board and say, we believe that we need resources elsewhere, and then we'll go back to the drawing board in order to be able to figure that out. But at least for right now, we have one RIF on the books that is communicated, so then that way we can balance the budget in accordance with the more than $250,000 Title I fund shortfall or cut from the federal government. Do you have an answer on the ShopRite question?
I do. The ShopRite cards, that's part of our homeless grant, and we give out gift cards to all of our homeless families so that they can buy necessary items for their school year. So that's what the cost was for, and that is allowable within the grant guidelines.
No one else?
I have, I know we don't talk about personnel, but I wanted to ask about a position. Was the SAC position for the 2 middle school ever advertised? If so, when was it advertised? Because this is the second time during a meeting it says it wasn't advertised. As much as I know, being in a school district, every position must be advertised. You can't just fill a position without being advertised. I thought that was the state law, unless I am mistaken. If I am, if the attorney could please guide me in the right way. I'm also voting no for the district goals. The district goals are the same as last year. The administration hasn't provided us what exactly is being changed. I think there's lots of other things that need to be changed. For example, adding another language in our district. That's something that the community is looking for, making sure that our state tests are higher by investing in different resources to help our students. The CTE, I'm sorry, to me, CTE means if I graduate high school, Fairlawn High School, I learned a skill and I can go to a job. What we currently are doing, it seems like, oh, it's gonna be better for college. For example, they're teaching how to be a teacher and lesson plans. I've been a teacher for 16 years. To do a lesson plan takes me 10 minutes. I write what I need, I write the objective, and I write what materials and activities. It's not like such a thing that it's something that is so difficult and I've never learned it besides college. And I think it's important for us to be shown how, for example, Rutgers has a program, a 9-month boot camp for coding. I would like our district to have a 4-year coding program. That would be a great. Currently, we only have an AP course, and I'm so happy that we added a new course this year, which is Python. So I'm very thankful for the administration, but I think we need to have JavaScript. We need to have a 4-year progression. And if that could be part of the goal, I would really appreciate, because that shows that we're providing something that when they graduate, they can actually get a job, students can actually get a job in, and I think that will be wonderful. So and also when Mr. Delisio came in during the retreat, he added another goal about inclusivity, about diversity and inclusivity. You created a group of people that you met in June, I think, or May.
You have 30 seconds.
I was wondering if that goal could be added, since it was already added during the retreat. Thank you.
Dr. Bertolini.
Just a couple of follow-up points. First of all, I agree with Rita that we should have a 4-year, every now and then, Rita. She gave me a look. I think we should have a 4-year sequence in computer science. We've agreed with this for a couple of years now. And I think adding that course this year is the first step. And I think in education, we've talked about it, and Dr. Dionisio agrees that we're going to expand on that, but it takes time to do that. So I think in a couple of years, we'll have a 4-year sequence in that. So that's one point. But I do agree that having more computer science classes in.
Dr. Bertolini, if you would please just stick to agenda items and not have
Oh,
correspondence
okay.
with other trustees at this
So let
time.
me see, I
Thank
can
you.
answer this. Oh, I can answer this way. All right. So the second point is that the CWE programs are very diverse. And what Rita's talking about is one aspect of it, and there's other aspects, and we want to continue expanding on that. Thank you, Julie.
The floor is closed. Can I have a motion for 5A through F?
My question wasn't answered.
Mr. Comegno, if you wouldn't mind answering that question.
Sure. Thank you. There is no statutory requirement to post for open positions. And board policy reserves discretion to the superintendent and to the board with regard to transfers, filling open positions, and discusses the process.
Positions don't have to be, you're saying positions don't have to be listed, like advertised at all?
I think the question was, or the reference was, to legal requirement to post for open positions. There is no statutory requirement in New Jersey to post for open positions.
And then the district goal, if we can add it, since it was part of the retreat last time. Question.
I already provided my response to the board, both verbally tonight and in writing in the board questions and responses regarding the district goals and objectives. So
Okay, that was
action
it.
items will be followed up next month.
Can I get a motion for 3A?
Point of information, is the grievance on the agenda?
It is not. Can I get a motion for 3A?
Second.
Can I? I'm not gonna. Roll call, please.
Mr. Baldowski? Yes. Mr. Banta?
Yes.
Dr. Bertolini?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Spindell?
Yes.
Ms. Yurman?
Yes.
Ms. Favolovich? Mrs. Mahan?
Yes.
Motion passes.
We are. I am going to ask that we get a motion for 5A through C and E first.
So moved.
Before,
No,
You're so fast.
Wait, I'm gonna do it second. I'm gonna do it second. I'm gonna do that after.
never mind, it's moved.
Giving you a few minutes. Second. We're not
We're gonna
doing D
amend
yet.
A.
He's gonna amend it. A through C and E. We're gonna hold D for a moment.
Motion is for 5A, B, C, and E.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Baldowski?
Yes.
Mr. Banta?
Yes.
Dr. Bertolini?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Favolovich?
No on 5F.
5F?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Spindell?
Abstain 5F.
Ms. Yurman?
Abstain 5D, no 5F. Oh, sorry. 5F, no.
Mrs. Mahan?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Can I get a motion for 5D with the addition of what Mr. Comegno will read out now?
5D is going to be amended to include denial of HIB appeal heard in executive session. The HIB number will be added to the minutes. So that is added to 5D. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Roll call.
So may I?
Please.
So a vote yes will be, as already reflected in 5D, it would be yes to,
Uphold.
affirming HIB 1 and 2, and also that non-HIB was not an HIB. Yes also, since it reflects denial, would be agreeing with denying the HIB appeal that you heard. Everybody clear? Thank you.
Roll call.
Mr. Baldowski?
Abstain on the addition, yes on the rest. Or just abstain. Make it easy.
Mr. Banta?
Yes.
Dr. Bertolini?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Favolovich?
No.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Spindell?
No.
Ms. Yurman?
No.
Mrs. Mahan?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Can I get a motion for 6A through E?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Baldowski?
Yes.
Mr. Banta?
Yes.
Dr. Bertolini? Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Favolovich?
So I have a couple, so just hang on. 7AB2.
We're on 6.
I'm sorry, 6. I'm for good. Sorry, I heard 7. Yes, I'm sorry. I heard 7. Sorry.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Spindell?
Yes.
Ms. Yurman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mahan?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Can I have a motion for 7A through L?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Baldowski?
Yes.
Mr. Banta?
Yes.
Dr. Bertolini? Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Favolovich?
So 7AB2, no. 7D4, no. 7D9, no. 7E2, no. 7E4, no. 7J, no. 7L2, no.
Everything else is yes?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes, except abstain on 7J.
Mr. Spindell?
7D9, no. Everything else, yes.
7D9. Ms. Yurman?
It's yes, except for no on 7AB2, 7D9,
7AB2.
7D9, 7E2, 7E4, 7J, and 7L2.
Those are no, and everything else is yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
I
Thank
need
you.
to make a correction if I may.
Sure.
I left that out. 7L2, no.
Mrs. Mahan?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Can I have a motion for 8A?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Baldowski?
Yes.
Mr. Banta?
Yes.
Dr. Bertolini? Ms. Brown? Ms. Favolovich?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Spindell?
Yes.
Ms. Yurman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mahan?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Can I get a motion for 9A and B? Roll call.
Mr. Baldowski?
Yes.
Mr. Banta?
Yes.
Dr. Bertolini? Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Favolovich?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Spindell?
Yes.
Ms. Yurman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mahan?
Abstain on 9A.
Motion passes.
Can I have a motion for A10, 10A through M?
So move.
Roll call.
Mr. Baldowski,
Yes.
Mr. Banta,
Yes.
Dr. Bertolini, Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Favela-Vitch,
Abstain on 10F and take 10K.
10F and 10K are abstained.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Spindell,
Yes.
Ms. Yurman,
Yes.
Mrs. Mahan,
Yes.
motion passes.
Can I get a motion for 11A and B?
So moved.
Roll call.
Mr. Baldowski,
Yes.
Mr. Banta,
Yes.
Dr. Bertolini, Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Favela-Vitch,
No.
Mr. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Spindell,
Yes.
Ms. Yurman,
No.
Mrs. Mahan,
Yes.
motion passes.
There's
It's
nothing
empty.
in C.
This is the public or public comment on any topic. Please provide your name and municipality in which you reside and sign in. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. This is not a dialogue between the speaker and the board. All comments will be taken at once, and when comments are complete, the board president or district administration will respond as best they can. The floor is open.
Hi, Jen Gruber, Fairlawn Education Association. Quick question, I know you don't have to answer that right this second. I did hear it stated that Ms. DeSantis was not on the agenda. However, she was given a rice notice to appear. So I'm just wondering how this all fits in. That's it.
Just point of order? We didn't vote on 11C.
11C is empty.
Thank you.
You ready? Okay. Good evening, Madam Board President, Mr. Board Vice President, Board Trustees, Dr. Dionisio, Mrs. DeFranco, and administrators. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you all this evening. I don't know if I need to, but I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Mel Jershauer. I'm president of FLACE. FLACE is an acronym, as most of you know, which stands for Fairlawn Association for Special Education. I'm here today to clarify our function and purpose due to, so I guess, some confusion that I've heard recently. FLACE is a district-wide parent group that was founded decades ago and was officially recognized by the state of New Jersey as the Special Education Parent Group of Fairlawn back in 1999. FLACE trailblazed this advocacy association way before the buzzword being used today, which is the acronym CPAG. CPAG stands for Special Education Parent Advisory Group. When FLACE began, they wanted to depict that it was parents and teachers coming together for the betterment of our schools and our population. In order to be inclusive and bridge the gap between home and school, they labeled it a parent-teacher association. We're not a regular PTO that plans carnivals, classroom activities, dances, or other events. In fact, we don't even do any of those things. Each one of our great schools in our district has their own PTO or PTA that does all of that. What FLACE does is unique and special. Our bylaws state that one of our basic policies are to work with the school system to provide quality education for all exceptional youth, children and youth, ages 3 through 21, who require special education services and shall seek to participate in the decision-making process establishing school policy, recognizing that the legal responsibility to make these decisions has been delegated by the people to the Board of Education. I'm now going to read something straight from SPAN's guide to develop and conducting a effective CPAG group. A CPAG gives parents the opportunity to provide direct input to their school district about policies, programs, practices, and services that have an impact on students with disabilities and their families. An effective CPAG can increase the proactive involvement of families by inviting input that can be used to shape local special education policy. An effective CPAG that uses parental input can help improve educational outcomes and well-being for all students, including those with disabilities, also to help identify unmet needs, help shape the development of programs, services,
Excuse me, you have 30 seconds.
thank you, and policies, and improve the district culture and climate. FLACE does all these things. FLACE has been doing all these things. In the interest of time, I'm not going to list examples of how FLACE has done all of the above, but if you require specific examples, I will willingly provide them to you, Dr. Dionisio and Madam President. I'm going to wait because my next paragraph, I'm going to come back.
Cindy Jo Quackenbush, round 2, public comment. It's really good to see all of you. Thank you for your time and allowing me to speak about FLACE. I served on the board for 15 years and was the special education chair for my tenure on the board. FLACE was and continues to be an instrumental part of the Special Education Committee. FLACE is so much more than a PTO. FLACE actively works with district employees and the board to ensure the well-being of our special needs students. They offer programs to the parents, communicate and set up the parents with groups and/or programs to help those parents and especially the child. They provide the students with love and support. They support so many of our programs in this district. Extended school year would not be as successful without the support and dedication of our FLACE. I consider FLACE much more than a PTO, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that feeling. They have helped so many of our most precious students. They are a recognized group by the Board of Education. Prior to the committee structure change, we as a committee attended monthly meetings and presentations. FLACE is always there for every parent to guide and nurture and listen to the needs of our district personnel, as well as the parents of those enrolled in the special education program. The paraprofessionals of the district also work very closely with FLACE. They are a close-knit family. Thank you for your time.
Do I have to sign in again, or do I just leave it? Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Christine Weinstein. As a parent of a student in special education, and as a parent who has been active in various PTOs and boards for 14 years now, since Ethan's preschool, I am proud to serve on the FLACE board currently. I'm the treasurer, and I can tell you firsthand that FLACE is an extremely unique, special organization. We advocate for all of our students in district. It is not about the parties. It is not about the cupcakes or the fundraising. It is about bringing awareness, inclusion, and bringing families together. It's about community, and everything is for the students. We bring up awareness. We have all kinds of ways that you can reach out to us and work together with us. We ask people to join us and come out to our parent information exchange meetings. We have guest speakers. We do all of the things that the CPAC dictates. It's just a different acronym. So please, FLACE is a wonderful thing. I can tell you so many stories and so many experiences that I have had that without FLACE would have gone a totally different direction. So thank you very much.
Sign in again?
Yes, please.
Wilkins Santana Fairlawn. Thank you all for being here tonight. I am running for Fairlawn Board of Education because our children deserve the very best. As a parent, educator, and longtime resident, I am committed to making decisions that prioritize their well-being and success. Our schools must be places where every child feels safe, respected, and valued. That's why I stand firmly against anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and all forms of hate. We need to combat harassment, intimidation, and bullying to ensure that our students and staff can learn and grow in a positive environment. Protecting our children's mental health is also crucial. I believe we should consider banning cell phones and social media use during the school day to help students focus on learning and building meaningful connection. I believe that's something that is being taken care of, but the sooner the better. I am committed to championing all educational programs, including special education, STEM, vocational tech, expanding language options to include Hebrew and Russian, which will enrich our students' learning experiences. To enhance student achievement, I will work collaboratively with fellow board members to develop policies that help every student succeed. And since I was on the board member, I learned from the past. I make mistakes, I learn from them, and I think that will make me a better person and board member. We must ensure our curriculum is inclusive and meets the diverse needs of our community. When it comes to budgeting, transparency is key. I will prioritize essential programs and resources to make sure we are supporting students and staff effectively. I am committed to fostering a respectful and collaborative board environment. Maybe have a consent agenda. Maybe agree to disagree and try to not have cliques, but maybe have one clique, which is entire board. And just because you don't vote the same way I vote, that doesn't mean we can't be friends and we can't have a good working relation. So this is a different mindset now that I have, which means we have to work together. We can't be one side. No, it's got to be only one team. Finally,
You have
because
30 seconds remaining.
30 seconds? Oh my goodness. My dad is an attorney. Lawsuits cost a lot of money. Litigation takes money away from the children. I'm sensing too much litigation, and as a matter of fact, not only I'm sensing, our legal bills are quite high in Fair Lawn. So I think I'm not behind the personnel. I'm not in those meetings to know what's going on behind the curtain. But
I'm sorry,
please
you're-
try to avoid anything that is going to cost to take money away from the children to pay for more lawyers, more lawsuits, and litigation, please. And thank you, and God bless everybody here and your families.
Hi, my name's Erica Mulkey-Colton, and I'm a teacher at Edison, as well as a FLACE rep at Edison. Mulkey. It's hyphenated, I just say Mulkey, it's easier. I just also wanted to comment on how wonderful FLACE is. I know I'm preaching to the choir. You guys are here and you see all the amazing things that Mel and Christine do and how they benefit our children and what they provide to our schools. There was some confusion about not having a CPAG. In Hawthorne, where I live, we call it CPAC, same thing. But it's just a group of special ed parents that can lean on each other and rely on each other. And we all need that, whether we're special ed parents or not. Just a group of people that can get together and discuss, also learn. We have speakers come in and talk about what are IEPs and things like that. And that's what FLACE is. There's bonus assemblies, and maybe there's some extra fun stuff we do. But all in all, it is recognized by the state as a support group for special education parents. And I think that's vital at Edison. When your child is turning 3 and aging into special education, it can be scary. There's a lot of acronyms, some I still don't even know. And you know, you're sitting in that meeting worried about your kiddo, and these things are just being said. And so it's nice to have someone who's experienced to go back to and talk to and get support from, and help you through that process. So that's all. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ludmila Corley, Fair Lawn TJ Now, parent of a student. Sorry, my name is too long. So I would like to discuss this all media consent form. This is something that every single parent receives when the child is enrolled. I think this is required every single year. I'm not sure. It came to my attention that a top administrator is holding a personal website and posting pictures of our children on it. I reviewed the website and there is no disclosure that this form is for the personal website of our top administrators. I know that in 7 years that my child's been in school, the district never had my consent to post my pictures of my child, yet it was disregarded. I had to contact the school when, mind you, I'm not very active on any kind of social medias or even the websites or anything, but it just came to my attention that my child's picture was posted without my consent. As a lawyer, and could tell you that is a grave ramifications. Now I'm extremely concerned why the top administrator has a personal website. The contact is, where it says contact me, is fairlawn.org email. So I am to believe that this website is supported by the board, that it's getting paid by the board. That is my questions, because now I'm questioning that I know for a fact that my child's pictures were taken. I'm not aware how many employees are in a district, but can you guarantee me that these pictures of my child are not posted on any of the personal website of current and former employees? Because I'm extremely concerned that I worked in corporate for way too long, that I know that when the top boss does it, it must be okay. And that is not okay. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person concerned, or, I don't understand what is going on, and I do need a public acknowledgement of this, and I need you to address this immediately. Why a top administrator has a personal website. There are copyrights. It says this website has obtained the rights to use the photograph via license agreement with certain third-party stock photography. So they're aware that there are laws that need to be abided by to using pictures. Yet on this website, after reviewing the articles, there are approximately 30 children's of pictures of our community, of children in our community. Then going back, it appears to me that the pictures of these children are from our multilingual families. How many parents understand what is actually being asked on this form? This form I could only find in English. English is my fourth language. I came to America.
You have 30 seconds. Thank you.
So it's very hard, even for me, who knows English extremely well. I had to ask legal, what does this entail, to understand? So how are we to understand if we are parents of a multilingual individuals and their pictures are now being posted on a personally held website? This is an extremely upsetting matter to me, and this needs to be addressed publicly. Thank you very much.
As long as it's under the 30 minutes, you can go again, yes.
All right, I'm going to continue where I left off. Another excerpt from the SPAN guide reads, learning, listening, and leading effective engagement of parent advisors can benefit both parents, school districts. When parental input is valued and there's a vehicle for meaningful communication, parents are empowered to facilitate change that matters. When school leaders are able to work with a cohesive, well-organized parent community that provides useful, coordinated input, they're able to move ideas into action. It's a win-win. The key is mutual respect. Now, from my own personal experience, I have witnessed FLACE working hard over the years to pave the way for this community that has been acting as the district CPAG for years. We have a long-standing relationship with our district administration and have worked positively for many years while earning the respect of many past and present. Fun fact, when we attended a SPAN training on building and maintaining a CPAG, FLACE actually received accolades for its function as a CPAG from SPAN. They said we were ahead of the times. In conclusion, a huge component of the FLACE Association is in fact the CPAG initiatives and activities within our district. Historically, we have not used both titles, but function in both capacities. Hence, CPAG and Flace being synonymous in our district, as we have been for many years. When referring to the association, the term most commonly and publicly used is Flace. In reality, perhaps we do need to move forward with a change using both titles when referring to ourselves so that the community has a better understanding of who we are and what we do. We always welcome parents to become active members of Flace. The more parents of children with special needs that get involved within our association, the more we can accomplish collectively and advocate more effectively for our children. The more parents get involved, the more we influence the special education department in our district to continue to make our programs stronger for the children. We want to continue to be a leader in our county, and most importantly, continue meeting the needs of the children and their families. We look forward to continuing our collaboration with the administrators, educators, and parents of our district while serving the special needs community under the guidance of SPAN to provide the best we can for our children. Flace is Fair Lawn CPAG. Make no mistake. Thank you for listening. I'm done.
Back. Changing hats. Jen Gruber, Westmoreland. I'm starting my 20th year, and I think I served about 10 of them now on the Flace board, right? About 10? Something like that. And I can attest to the function of the association. Throughout the years, Flace has always helped to bring awareness and acceptance to our schools, especially with our community of learners with autism, which, if you don't know me, you know is near and dear to my heart. They have been instrumental in developing and creating new policies and programs based on the needs of the community. In fact, I just saw 2 days ago, you're trying to get something special with the police department for drivers, a blue license for drivers with autism. They're right on top of everything. Flace has served as this district CPAG for many years now, and I have always been very proud to be part of that growth. Flace is always trying to improve the special education experience for all of the families in Fair Lawn, and they are always the first person to go to when a new parent moves in. You can see it right away. Everyone is referring to Flace, to Flace, to Flace. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ludmila Koroliva, Fair Lawn. I would like to address the response for the administration when a parent has an issue when it comes to their children's education. We are now 7 days, business days, before the school start. I initiated an email on June 7th in regards to my child not being happy in French that he took. You know, I believe schools are exploratory. Everybody has an option to take a language that they like. He just wasn't happy with French. I know French, I think it's a fun language. He did not like it. It is what it is. So we have an option to switch. Yet we're still not switching. So we're placed back in French, according to the top administrator. Unfortunately, I will not be naming any names, just for privacy matters. Thank you. Then the administrator went on to school me on the district policy, which is fantastic, because sometimes I don't know all the school policies. This was a fantastic information. So the district policy 2132, school district goal and objective, state that students shall leave grades 4, 8, and 11 and 12, having demonstrated competency as required in challenging subject matters, including language, arts, literacy, mathematics, science, social study, health, physical education, visual and performing arts, and world languages. My child been enrolled in this district for 7 years since kindergarten. He's been taking Spanish for 7 years. So where is this competency? Because he could tell you numbers 1 through 10 and high. 7 years, it's a very long time to take a world language. I know 4 languages. One of those languages was English when I came to this country, and I learned, and Fair Lawn did an amazing job teaching me that language with proficiency to pass a lot of tests, to go to school, to get a fantastic job, and to speak in front of you. Yet, my child is not receiving that education in a foreign language. I did ask, my child already actually is very well-versed on another language, in a foreign language, so I did ask, what are my options to opt out? There isn't any. Okay. Then they told me that a curriculum policy 2200 states that preparation of students for employment, so the policies basically said this curriculum shall provide programs in accordance with board policies and New Jersey core curriculum content standards. So it's preparing you students for employment and post-secondary study for graduation from high school. I can guarantee you, when my child graduated from high school, if he continues in this program, will not have that proficiency to get a job or to be proficient in it.
Excuse me, you have 30 seconds.
Thank you so much. So this has been going on since June 7th. The superintendent's office is aware of this matter. There's no resolution to date, and I've been placed once again to the program. My child has been placed to a program that on June 7th, I said he was unhappy with, and we need to have a resolution. There was nothing. So this is unfortunate that there's no follow-ups. When I talk to the teachers, it takes 3 months. 7 days from school, I need to know where my child is going to be. I need to explain to him why he's taking the language French again. So I would like to ask, why is my child back to French when we said on June 7th that he will not be participating in it? Thank you very much.
Dr. Dionisio, is there anything on the Google form? Unfortunately, we're at 30 minutes, and I still do have a number of people on the Google form. I apologize.
Yes, we have, it appears 5 comments. First one is from Sharon Bragan. Dear Mrs. Mahan and members of the Fair Lawn Board of Ed, my name is Sharon Bragan, and I am a lifelong resident of Fair Lawn, a 1970 graduate of FLHS. You may remember me as a special education teacher at TJ, a Starfish recipient and Teacher of the Year. When I retired in 2021, I received via Zoom accolades and heartfelt wishes from board members that left me feeling so overwhelmed and proud to have been able to serve my community. Thank you especially to Michael Rosenberg. Aside from bringing character counts and nobody has the power to ruin your day, to all of the students of Fair Lawn, I've always believed the gift that was given to me was that of serving on the FLACE board for over 8 years. I can professionally and very personally speak to the function of the dedicated association. Throughout the years, FLACE has always helped bring acceptance and education to the Fair Lawn School District. FLACE has always assisted in developing special education programs and worked on new policies and programs based on the needs of the parents with the children receiving special education services. FLACE has served as the district CPAG for many years now, and I was always happy to have been a part of the growth, to embrace their new ideas, and been a part of their cutting-edge developments that assist staff members on every level. Not wanting to leave such an important organization, I became co-chair of Fair Lawn Access for All, a volunteer committee whose mission is to help support adults with different abilities within our community and outlying areas, not limiting our scope to just Bergen County. We work with FLACE to coordinate efforts, share ideas and programs, as well as develop new and different programs and projects which can support our very special population. Please understand, FLACE, like Access, strives to create a supportive community where communication between administration, parents, teachers, and support staff is paramount. There are many aspects of our students and adults coming and goings, and FLACE members have always worked tirelessly to ensure everyone's voice is heard. We network with others to continue building a social and emotional well-being platform to enhance and assist our wonderful learners who count on FLACE to advocate for them. Thank you for taking the time to let me share. Sincerely, Sharon Bragan. Next comment is from Christine Souza, Fair Lawn. Good afternoon. I am writing today to share my experience with FLACE. My son, Brendan, entered the Fair Lawn school system at the age of 3 in April 2008. Although I have 2 much older children who were educated in the district, they are neurotypical. I became acquainted with FLACE in the summer of '08 when Brendan participated in an extended school year. I was very impressed with the enhancements they added to the extended school year program, which included educational demonstrations, enrichment programs, and fun events. FLACE also provides support during the regular school year. I was also very impressed with the seminars and support groups FLACE sponsored, which were exceptionally valuable as a parent learning to navigate the long and winding path of raising a child on the autism spectrum. I was compassionately supported by the parents who had gone before me, and I knew that whatever situation arose with Brendan, I could turn to the officers and members of FLACE for assistance. I was also very impressed with the support FLACE provided to the district special education teachers, therapists, and paraprofessionals, without whom our children would be unable to achieve their fullest potential. I personally owe them a debt of gratitude that can never be repaid. FLACE was essential in assisting the special education community during COVID by recognizing the unique issues our children were facing during the unprecedented time and providing the necessary support. FLACE is not just a special education PTO. Their scope and assistance reaches far beyond that of any such PTO that I am aware of, and I have had children in the district for a total of 29 years. Sincerely, Christine Sousa. Next comment is from Viviana Korn, Fairlawn. Hello, Mrs. DeFranco. My husband and I want to express our gratitude to FLACE, Fairlawn Association for Special Education, during the time that our beloved son, Jonathan, may he rest in peace, attended middle school and high school in the Fairlawn school system. He and his classmates enjoyed all the fun and education activities that the FLACE organization organized in the school classroom and also out of the school, as well as classroom supplies, support groups for parents, and enrichment programs. I wanted to attend the board meeting tonight, but because of other commitments, I will not be able to attend, but it was important to me to express our appreciation towards Mel Jerschauer and the entire organization. Sincerely, warm regards, Viviana. Next comment is Olga Ginsburg, Fairlawn. Good afternoon, Dr. Dionisio. Thank you very much for answering my questions emailed to you earlier today. I appreciate the insight. This open communication is very much appreciated. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Next comment, Olga Ginsburg, Fairlawn. I am grateful for all the work FLACE has done as a special education PTO. I would appreciate if FLACE leadership defines its function in the district for many parents who are not aware they are a CPAG. Please ensure it is updated online and this information reaches all the families whose children receive the services in the district. I am happy we have a CPAG now. Thank you. Those are all the comments.
The floor is closed.
We appreciate all public comment. We encourage public comment. It's one of our precious civil liberties. It's on display at all of our meetings, which is wonderful. With regard to concerns that were raised, I want to acknowledge the concerns and indicate that we'll look into those concerns and address them. Thank you.
The floor is open for board comments at this time. Mr. Banta.
Forgot about that. All right. 18A:12-24.1 Code of Ethics for School Board Members. A, I will uphold and enforce all laws, rules, and regulations of the State Board of Education and court orders pertaining to schools. Desired changes will be brought about only through legal and ethical procedures. I will support and protect school personnel in performance of their duties. And J, I will refer all complaints to the Chief Administrative Officer and will act on complaints at public meetings only after failure of an administrative solution. Thank you.
Ms. Favolovich.
Okay. So I am actually concerned, and my daughter will be going to the district next year, and I don't want her photos ever to be posted online. My concern is, does any administrator, teachers, any employee can put my child's photo on their personal website? That kind of is as a parent, I have a right where my child's photo appears, and I want to make sure if we don't have a policy, that we do have a policy that no employee can post on their private website pictures of our children. I think that's an important rule because as a parent, that's my right. And it's a privilege that we have these students, and we should be understanding that it's a privilege, and therefore we should not post photos without parents' consent. Number two, my question, that was a comment. Number two, if not, if we can refer it to a committee, I would be more than happy if people can tell me what committee it is. My second question is, so there's no law that policies, job description, jobs have to be advertised. Does the district have a policy that before filling a position, a job needs to be advertised? I understand there's no state law, but is there something that Fairlawn law has versus policy? I would like to know that. That's my third question. Second question. I am very sorry today. It's late. My third thing is my job as a board member is to look out for the children. That's my number one job. That's why I'm here. And to make sure the children are number one on my list. And SAC, to me, is a very important position. Why? Because these are the children that either could be using drugs or any other things. And I think someone who's experienced should be in that position, not someone who's new, who hasn't been doing this. In the past 20 years, there's lots of things that have happened with kids using. One of the things is gummies. They eat a box of gummy and they're high. And if someone, so it's important something like that, that somebody educates the teachers how to look out for that, what to look out for this, what to understand. Because if the teachers are not well trained, and that's usually trained by the SAC counselor, how can the teachers know exactly what to do?
You have 30 seconds remaining.
So, also, I believe that somebody that should have experience, if SAC is in such important field that that person should have experience. So I am making a motion to grant Ms. DeSantis a fourth grade grievance, for a fourth level grievance, I'm sorry.
I second that for the sake of discussion.
I'm going to defer this one to our council.
Counseling you not to discuss. That doesn't mean you can't vote up or down in your elected officials. That also means you can do respectfully what you choose. My opinion is my opinion. All right, but I wanted to note that you each have received the materials with regard to this matter. And I will note that the effect, because there are often questions about the effect, a yes vote here would undo the personnel action that you approved at prior meeting. All right? Is there any conversation? If not, we'll call the roll.
Call the question.
Yes. A yes. Can I answer this question before? Because the question's been called. A yes would essentially rescind the prior transfer. You understand?
No,
Who said no?
me, I don't understand what that means. That person to that position? Gotcha.
Understood?
Yeah. But my question regarding the policy, do we have a policy on our?
We've got a motion and a second on the floor. If we want to talk about our policies, we can talk about that outside of this process. The question's been called. Roll call.
Mr. Baldowski?
No.
Mr. Banta?
No.
Dr. Bertolini? Ms. Brown?
No.
Ms. Favolovich?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg?
No.
Mr. Spindell?
Yes.
Ms. Yurman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mahan?
Yeah, I'm going to return to Ms.
Oh, she was
Favolovich.
up at 3
Oh.
minutes.
Question, I just want to make sure my question.
Is that the state versus fair lawn policy?
Does the state have a policy? And also, what's our policy about any employee posting on their personal websites and pictures of our children? Is there a policy for that?
I'm going to ask that question be deferred back to Dr. Dionisio, and he will get back to us. Oh, and yes, actually, there was. No, it was this one. And then you're concerned about pictures being posted. I'm actually going to refer that to both student services and education.
And the position, can the attorney ask if they have a policy in the district that needs to be advertised before it's filled? Do we have a policy regarding that?
We'll get back to you. Michael.
Thank you. First of all, I want to state that I do not vote on any motions that are made, offered during new business that we didn't have time to discuss openly, which is the reason why I did not, why my vote was what it was. And I've said that many months in a row. As far as Flace, I want to thank Mel and Christine, Cindy, as the chair of student services. I want to thank you for making Flace what it is today, and the teachers. Thank you, Ms. Mulkey, Ms. Gruber. I want to thank you for everything you do for our students, and just as much as what you do for our students is what you do for our parents. Because I raised a special needs child, and I'm a grandfather of a classified child. And it's very, very important that the parents have a place to go to find out information, to talk with each other, to have contact with the district's people. So I think it just makes sense that Flace is the CPAG, because it does everything, as you said so eloquently, a lot more eloquently than me right now, that it does everything and more. And one of the things that that really I love about this district
Excuse me, you have
is
30
Flace.
seconds
Thank
remaining.
you. It's Flace. So thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for telling us all about what you do so that everybody knows. Okay, and I really appreciate it. And thank you, Camille, for everything you do for our special ed students too.
The floor is closed. On September 26th, 2024, we will have our regular monthly meeting, 7:30 p.m. at Thomas Edison School. And October 30th, 2024 is our regular monthly meeting at 7:30 p.m., again at Thomas Edison School. What? Yeah, I'm going to be out trick-or-treating with my children on the 31st, so thank you so much for amending that for us. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
The meeting is adjourned at 9:45 p.m. All in favor? Enjoy your night, the rest of your summer.